Welcome to the Practice Profit System podcast. Do you own a cash-based practice? Are you looking to start one? Tired of working endless hours and still not making enough money? Want to fire your insurance company? Then you're going to love our podcast. Each episode is full of insights and proven strategies to grow your practice to 7 figures and more, allowing you to take more time off, make more money, and no longer have to take insurance reimbursements. Plus, get a free copy of my book, The Anatomy of a 7-Figure Medical Practice, where I detail my entire journey to creating my own 7-figure practice. Just go to www.srpmedicalmarketing.com/book. You just pay $7.95 in shipping and handling, and you'll also get over $1,197 in free bonuses. That's www.srpmedicalmarketing.com/book. Now, on to our show.
Matt Scalogli, and welcome to the Practice Profit System. And today I want to talk to you about keeping score. All right. Now, why am I going to talk to you about keeping score? Well, if you've been a long time listener to this podcast, you'll know that I've been coaching entrepreneurs and business owners since 2004. To date, literally 4,500 plus at least have gone through my coaching programs. A large portion of those people I've worked with one-on-one. I've noticed something really interesting about success. And the interesting thing about success is that most people want it to be just kind of sort of mysterious. But the reality is that success is actually very scientific, okay? We know what it takes in order for you to become successful. Now, the funny thing is most people don't want to do the work, but for those of you that really want to be successful, to have the results in your med spa and your cash practice that you've only dreamed about, in today's podcast, I'm going to share with you the 4 keys of what I call of keeping score in order for you to get the results that you want, okay? So this is going to be a little bit more in depth. I'm going to tell a couple of stories, but I think you're going to find this pretty valuable. And while I generally don't make a lot of guarantees on this, because at the end of the day, if you want to have something, you're the one who has to do the work. I'm sorry to tell you this, but the pixie dust no longer works, okay? I don't have any unicorns sitting behind me. But all kidding aside, my experience in working with people worldwide, literally on 5 continents, speaking to tens of thousands of people in webinars and teleseminars and live events, there is a common theme, and that is success leaves clues. And I want to give you 4 of those clues to help you on your journey to success. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, before we go any further, I want to give you a little bit of background, okay? Now, for those of you that are a longtime listener of this podcast, you will know that I am a former professional golfer. I was a member of the PGA. I never played on tour, but I'm a pretty decent golfer. And I haven't played much over the last 4 years, and I decided to get my game back. Now, I'm 54 years old, and I'm supposed to be kind of moving into the twilight of golf, and I can tell you I'm hitting the ball better now than I ever have, right? I'm going to use that as an analogy to illustrate what it takes to get to the place that you want to be, because you might be thinking, oh, well, that's easy for you, Matt. You've got it all figured out. You were lucky. You were in erectile dysfunction, but I'm going to get pretty vulnerable in this podcast, because I'm going to share with you my struggle to get to a level back to where I want to play golf. Okay. So even if you don't play golf, hopefully this will help you. Now, so like I said, I was a professional golfer at one time. Now, again, never played on tour, but I'm decent nonetheless. So I decided about 5 months ago that I was going to do the work in order to become very, very good at the game again. And what that means for me is breaking par, shooting even par, just a couple over par or under par when I play golf. And that takes a lot of work. Now, it's not just hitting golf balls. It's not just sinking putts, but it encompasses a lot of things. So I have to have a workout regimen. I had to change the way I work out. I had to change my stretching routine because there was none. So, and I work with a coach every other week. We have an hour lesson. Okay. So it takes a lot of time to rebuild something that you used to be good at. You might think, oh, Matt, you could just pick up a club and you can play. Reality is that I've been shooting high 80s to low 90s over the last 3 months while I've been making this transition. And just recently I had a decent round, and I want to share with you some of that progress, okay? So there's 4 keys in order to get the results that you want in life, but it comes down to keeping score. So the first key is that you always have to track your progress, okay? I don't care what you're doing in life. If you want to lose weight, you've got to track your progress, okay? So many of you have heard about my weight loss journey. About a year and a half ago, I lost 25, 30 pounds. I took my body fat from like 33 to 20%. I've been able to keep it off. But the reality is that I let some of it inch back on. And when I had my last annual physical with Dr. Barber, guess what? The numbers were not to her liking. And so we've had to do some work. So I track my macros, everything that I eat, track my metabolism, wear my Whoop, do all of these things, track my sleep, all the things that we know we need to do in order to get the result that I want. So you have to always track your result. Now, it's amazing to me how many people don't know their numbers, because my best clients, when we work with them one-on-one, we start every call with going over their numbers. My best clients that are doing $200,000 a month from startup a year ago, we go over their numbers. My worst performing clients avoid giving me numbers like the plague. And frankly, most of the time they never make a phone call. Okay. Now, when I play golf, I carry a yardage book. Now, a yardage book is basically, you might have seen it, something that I don't have it with me, but it folds up and it sits in your back pocket, and you take notes after every single shot. After every shot, I record the distance, the wind, my club selection, the shot result, and most importantly, my mindset of that before I was hitting that shot. Now, the guys in my group give me a lot of grief, right? They're like, hey, Matty, you going to play on tour? Doesn't matter to me. I have a plan and I'm working on the plan regardless of what others say. Okay. So one, you've got to track your progress. In our business, you need to be tracking your progress each and every single day with regards to how many calls did we get? How many appointments did we book? How many conversions did we have? What were the resistance points? Things like that. You've got to be keeping notes on every single day. And I'll talk about that a little bit more with point number 3. Second thing is was I committed? Now, I will tell you, you give me a client who is committed to making the change and doing the work, and I will look like a superstar. Okay. My team will look like superstar. You have to be committed to making the change and getting the result that you want. Success is not something that is happenstance. It is not by luck. It is not by birth. It is not by breeding. It is not by where you went to school. It is about commitment. Okay. Now, this past weekend, this last Saturday, at the time of this recording, I played actually one of my better rounds. In the last week, I've had 2 of my best rounds in the last 3 months. This has been an incredibly hard journey. I shot 79 at one of the courses, and then I shot 83 at my home course. Now, here's the interesting thing. My round on Saturday started out really, really well, but I had 3 holes where I basically almost completely lost the round. And when I went back and I looked at my notes, there were 5 swings that added 10 shots to my round. So that 83 could have very easily been a 73. Now, I don't expect to hit the shot perfect every single time. Nobody does, okay? But what was the difference in those swings? Well, I was not committed to the shot that I wanted to hit. I'm going to say that again. I was not committed to the shot that I wanted to hit. For those 5 shots, I was not clear on the outcome, and I did not commit to the shot. That was the difference between shooting 73 and 83. It's a 10-shot swing. So what do I mean by being committed to the shot? Well, before every shot, there's a process that I go through, and this process is the same. This process doesn't change, okay? Because if I follow the process, then I'm most likely going to get the best result possible. And that process for me is I check the yardage, I check the wind, I check the elevation, what's the temperature, I determine what I want to hit, right? I commit to that shot. Now, determining the club that I want to hit is very, very important, okay? And I have to commit, then I have to envision, I stand behind the ball, I have to envision the shot, and I've got to clear my mind of any negative thoughts. I can't go up to the ball until I am clear about the positive result that I want to get, because during a golf swing, which is 1.2 seconds in length, I don't have time to think about the club should be here, should be there, should be there. I have to just go, okay? Now, how does this relate to you in business? Well, and then when I get over the shot, I have a routine that I go through, and it takes about 7 seconds, and then I hit the shot, okay? Now, those 5 shots that I hit poorly, I was not committed. I was joking around. I was goofing off. We were kind of laughing, telling stories and things like that before I hit the shot. I wasn't committed to doing it. Those 5 swings cost me 10 shots, okay? And so because a bad shot creates an opportunity for either a comeback shot, which is basically getting yourself back in play, or you do something more stupid and you try to be a hero. And when you try to be a hero, things don't usually work out very well with regards to business, okay? So you have to be committed. In your business, are you committed to doing what it takes in order for you to be successful? There is no in-between on this. You're either committed or you're not. And if you're committed, that means that you're going to put the work in to learn about how to run a business. You're going to be in a coaching program like what I offer. You're going to do the work in order for you, just like you had to in med school, Just like when you went to med school, you had to do the work could you have gone through med school if you weren't committed? No. Can you run your business if you were not committed? I'm not talking to you about being committed to the medical side of it. You have to learn how to be a business person. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay. The third thing, I want you to reflect back and review the day each and every single day. So when I finish my round, we hang out, we laugh, we joke, and then I head home, and I usually sit on the back patio, and I've got my notebook, my little yardage book, and I go through my notes and I review my round, and I have 5 statistics that I send to my coach. And I send him a quick text. I shot this. Here's my statistics on this. So one of the things we track is double bogeys. So I had 4 double bogeys on Saturday. Okay. That's 4 shots right there. Okay. Boom, right there. All right. And I had 2 3-putts. That's another 2 shots. Okay. Because we don't want 3-putts. So we want no double bogeys, no 3-putts. Okay. If I do that, I'll shoot 75, 78 every single day. Okay. So I reflect back and I review the day. It helps us to understand what to focus on our next practice session. And I work with him every other week. By the way, this is a trait of my most successful clients as well. They send me updates with a quick text and an email just letting me know how things are going. If they have a successful day, Matt, we did this, here are our numbers, blah, blah, blah. If they have a bad day, Matt, here's what we did, here are the numbers, blah, blah, blah. You get what I mean? Like you have to reflect back and you've got to review the day at the end of the day. If you were to watch what I do, I still do this on a daily basis. Even with work, I go through and I type out, how are my thoughts? What was I thinking at the end of the day? How did the day go? I keep a little journal. It takes me literally like 2 to 5 minutes. Okay. Then finally, here's the last one. You have to keep a master workbook of your ongoing statistics, because that way you'll be able to see the trends and you'll look to see what's out of alignment. Okay. So I'm going to use my round of golf as an example again. So those 5 swings that cost me 10 shots, guess what club, with the exception of one of them, 4 of those were the result of 1 club, and that is my driver. Okay. Now, if you don't play golf, driver's the longest one. It's the one that you hit off the tee. And in reality, in 3 of those holes, I didn't need to hit driver. I could have very easily hit something else and probably kept that in play. And basically what happened is my ego got in the way, and I wanted to show up and show everybody in the group how far I can hit the ball for somebody who's 54 at 5'7". Okay. So you have to keep a master workbook of your ongoing statistics. And so when I look at that, I'm like, Jesus, these clubs here, I would have been fine. The other one was on a par 3. I wasn't committed to the shot. I hit a bad 8-iron. Again, it doesn't matter if you understand golf or not. I want you to get this lesson. You have to keep a master workbook of your ongoing statistics of how you are doing each and every single day. How many inquiries did you have? How many appointments did you book? How many new patient evaluations? How many consultations did you have? What was your closing percentage? What was your average revenue per transaction? You have to keep track each and every single day. This is a non-negotiable, folks. If you are just kind of operating in la-la land and you're saying, well, I think it was a good day, or it could have been a better day, and we'll get it tomorrow. That's not a plan. You've got to keep this master workbook of ongoing statistics. Guess what? You'll start to see a trend in our businesses. We see trends and we're like, oh, well, we always know that this time of the year is slow. We either have a plan to fix it or we just accept it. There's something going on in the biorhythms, or Mercury's in retrograde. Who the hell knows, right? You have to be tracking these master workbooks, because over time, this is going to create an encyclopedia of data for you, which you then can use. So I'm going to give you some final thoughts. Unless you keep score on a daily basis, then you are going to never reach your goals. It's that simple. Okay. Some of the other things I track on a daily basis: personal and business bank account balances. Okay. Weight. I get up every single morning. I weigh myself. I go to the bathroom. I weigh myself. My recovery and sleep. I wear a Whoop. Okay. I didn't wear a Whoop I wore it for a while. I had it all figured out. I didn't wear a Whoop. Guess what? My numbers got worse. So recovery and sleep. So Sunday night, my recovery was a 29%, right? Last night, my recovery was an 89%. I made changes to what I pre-bed routine. I got out of whack on Sunday night. I didn't do some of these things right. I ate too late. We had a little bit too much wine, all of those things. My workout level, my strain level. I track my macros for carbs, fat, and proteins every single day. I have an app that I use. I use a little tool called Lumen right here to check my metabolism. The list goes on and on. So I'm going to leave you with this. Success leaves clues, okay? And there is a very specific journey that you can take in order for you to become successful. Now, quite frankly, this podcast is longer than what I normally do, but I think this is a very important fact. I don't think this is a very important topic that you need to understand. If you aren't getting the results that you want in life, it's not because of your ad agency. It's not because your Facebook ads didn't work. It's really none of that. It's really about doing the basic fundamentals, following the process that I like to call it, like Nick Saban says, for you to be able to get the results that you want. Okay. So I'm going to go over these 4 real quickly again. This is literally like my clients pay me a lot of money for this stuff. Always track your progress. 2, was I committed? You have to be committed for the day. Were you committed in talking to the client? You've got to reflect back and review the day. And finally, keep a master workbook of your ongoing stats. All right. So that's it. That's success in a nutshell, folks. I know maybe it's not as sexy as talking about the new regenerative procedure, but if you want to do more of those new regenerative procedures, follow this path. You'll have a lot more patients to see. I'm Matt Galogli. This is the Practice Profit System. I appreciate you listening. As always, folks, stay classy and carpe diem. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for listening. If you liked this episode, take a moment and share it with your fellow medical professionals, or post a positive comment and rate it on wherever you just listen. Now, don't forget, you can get a copy of my book, The Anatomy of a 7-Figure Medical Practice, for free. Just pay $7.95 in shipping and handling. Plus, you'll get over $1,197 in free bonus material. Simply go to srpmedicalmarketing.com/book. That's srpmedicalmarketing.com/book. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.